Okay, next, step 5. This part's actually pretty important. Gluing in your signposts. You're going to glue them in the order in which you stacked them, but the way you glue is actually kind of important. So I'm going to number my first page. I'm on page 9. You guys might be on a different page from me. When I glue in the signposts, I'm going to start with fiction, because that's what I put in my table of contents, and I'm going to start with again and again. And I'm going to glue again and again fiction signpost at the top of the page like this, leaving myself lots of room at the bottom to write. Now, this is going to sound really lame to some of you, but gluing is actually kind of important. Now, I didn't bring home any Elmer's glue, and I'm in my house, obviously. I have like 30 bottles of Elmer's glue in my classroom, but I cannot find them anywhere because, as you know, I'm still in boxes. So I'm using Gorilla Glue, which is not ideal because it's really strong and not necessary for this. The best thing to use is just plain old ordinary Elmer's glue, just the liquid white glue. But here's the deal. When you start gluing things in your notebook, which we haven't done yet, if we were in the classroom, we would have been doing this like pretty much since day one. You need to use very, very small amounts of glue, like a little dot in each corner. And I don't even go all the way to the corner. I go like close to the corner, because if you're all the way in the corner, it's going to smear and it's going to spread out and it's going to glue your pages together. And once your pages get glued together, you have to separate them, and that's a pain. So when you do your gluing, you do literally the world's smallest dot in each corner. And I'm not kidding, like small. I don't know if you can tell, but I barely even touched the paper with my glue. And then I'm going to set that down into my notebook and press down on the corners. And then my first signpost is glued in to the first page. Okay, now using too much glue is going to do this. Your glue is going to goosh out of the corners. I might not even have put enough on to glue it down because I'm using Gorilla Glue. It's awesome. But the other thing that will happen if you use too much glue is it'll bleed through to the next page over, and you don't want that to happen either. So you're going to now glue in your signposts on each page. So I'm going to glue my first one on this page, and then I'm going to glue my second one, which is going to be Words of the Wiser. I'm going to glue Words of the Wiser over here. It's really hard to do this on camera. Words of the Wiser is going to go there. Okay, then I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to do the next one, and I'm going to walk through this, glue them in the order you cut them out, in the order you stacked them, which is on your dock, and you're going to glue in all 6 of the fiction. I am going to go back and number my pages. So my next page is 10. I don't know what page you're on. You're probably on a different page because you've been doing quick writes, and I haven't been numbering my pages as I should have. So now I have first, I have again and again, and then I have Words of the Wiser, and then I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to number the next 2 pages, and I'm going to glue in Aha Moment. Again, 4 teeny tiny little dots. If you're using a glue stick, they don't stick as well. You're going to find that your work doesn't necessarily stay glued into your notebook. You can use a glue stick, you can use tape, whatever you have. But the best thing really is just plain old ordinary white glue like you've been using in school your whole entire life. Little dot in each corner. Gorilla Glue if you have it. I mean, whatever you have. Okay, so now on the next 2 pages, I have Aha Moment, and then I have Contrasts and Contradictions, and then I'm going to turn the page again, and number it. You don't have to keep watching this video if you have a hang of it. It's not that hard. It's just gluing. Some kids really struggle with gluing. They use so much glue. And then their notebook pages get all stuck together. And then when they try to go back and do work, they can't because the pages are stuck together. If we were in the classroom and I was collecting your notebooks, I actually would mark you down for that. I have a grade on the rubric that I use for grading notebooks about pages being stuck together. Okay, so now I have all of my fiction signposts glued in. Last 2 pages, Memory Moment, and Tough Questions, not in that order, Tough Questions first. Now I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to number it again. And I'm going to start with the big questions. And I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did before. I'm going to glue in the first big question, which is the one with the exclamation mark. What surprised me? We'll be covering all this stuff in a little bit. I have a really cool article to share with you about the hate you give getting banned from schools. Actually getting banned. Like actually taken off the shelf banned. It's a great article. First big question goes on the page. And then you're going to do the second big question, which is the one with the question mark. Glue that one down. 4 little dots in the corner. That's all you need. Then you're going to turn the page, number it, and you're going to glue in your third big question. What challenge changed or confirmed what I knew? I know some of you may have done signposts before. Usually you haven't done the nonfiction ones though. And then you're going to start on the nonfiction signpost with contrasts and contradictions. Glue that into the next page. I'm going to go back and number my pages later because this is kind of silly to be doing all of this on video. And then the page, extreme or absolute language is next. And then numbers and stats. They're all getting glued to the very top of the page. You're going to be doing stuff underneath that. So you need the space underneath it. Do not glue them in the middle of your page. Otherwise, you're not going to have room to write. Because you're going to be writing in your notebooks about these. And then last is quoted words. And then word gaps. Okay, I have not numbered all my pages. I'm going to go back and do that. Plus, I have to do this for my other notebook for my other class. I only did one so far. You guys only have to do it once. So once you're done, here's what it should look like. On the first page, you should have fiction again and again, and then words of the wiser. And then on the next page, they should all be glued way at the top like this with lots of room at the bottom to write. On the next page, you should have aha moment, contrasts and contradictions. For fiction, make sure it's the fiction one, not the nonfiction one. And then on the next page, you should have tough questions and memory moment. And then on the next page, it should move into the big questions. You should have the first big question, what surprised me? And the second big question, what did the author think I already knew? And then on the next page, you should have the third big question with the star, which is what challenge, changed, or confirmed what I knew. And then contrasts and contradictions for nonfiction. And then you should have extreme or absolute language and numbers of stats. And then on the last set of pages, you should have quoted words and word gaps. Okay, and lots of space to write underneath. Okay, easy.